Hello everyone, and welcome back to my chatty, sassy channel here on YouTube, where we talk about all things luxury, be it luxury fashion, luxury travel, or life's luxuries in general. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that's a bit different for my channel. Normally, I talk about things that I would like to buy, things that I'm so happy I bought, things I'm so happy I didn't buy, things that I think you should buy. And today I am talking about the items that I regret not buying. And I am someone who I try to be very smart with how I spend my money. And I'm really grateful in the fact that I don't have many items that I really truly regret buying. And that's great, because that means that I haven't wasted my money very often. But that being said, because I am so cautious, because I hesitate, there are things that when I look back, I regret that I didn't get. And so I'm gonna go through the 10 regrets of items that I haven't purchased today. So with that, let's get into the first item. The very first thing that I regret not buying is the Louis Vuitton mini pochette. Now, this was an item that was going around on YouTube for a while, in the luxury YouTube, where everyone's saying, you have to have a mini pochette, you have to have a mini pochette, you have to have a mini pochette. And I thought, I have to have a mini pochette. But it was $450 at the time, which is laughable now because now it's like $750. At the same time, I was trying to grow my bag collection. And so I really wanted a Strathberry stylist bag to give me more of an evening bag. And so I kept flipping back and forth between the Christmas list that I'd shared with my mom for Christmas, between that and the mini pochette. And she had gotten, unknown to me, the Damier Ebene mini pochette. And I remember walking with her in TJ Maxx, and we were going down one of the home aisles, and she said, why do you keep switching? Why can't you pick one? Which one is it that you really want? And I said, well, I'd really like the Louis Vuitton, but the reason I keep taking it off is that I don't know how I'd use it. So she made the executive decision for me, unknown to me, returned the Louis Vuitton, ordered the Strathberry. That's what I got for Christmas. I was thrilled. Didn't learn until like last October that she'd had the mini pochette for me. And now it's so expensive that I cannot see myself buying it. But I actually know how I'd use the Louis Vuitton, and the stylist, if I'd still wanted it, is still the same price. So lesson number 1, luxury goes up in price. And just because it's little doesn't mean it won't have a big price increase. So if you really think you're going to use it, and you think that this is a piece that you're going to have for a long time, and you have the money, go ahead and get it. Don't flip-flop, just get it. The next piece that is a pre-loved piece that I saw come up, it was a mini Lady Dior in a gorgeous sort of multicolored sequin disco pattern. It was like $1,800. It was on the Real, if I remember correctly, and it was beautiful. There was nothing wrong with this bag. And so I went to order it back on, and it was sold. And I've seen similar ones come up for sale that are nowhere near that price. And then Meredith and I were doing a video collab last year where we each picked, I think it was 5 bags for the other person. And one of those bags was this Dior bag. I kind of want Meredith to get tired of it so that she'll sell it to me so that I can now have it in my collection, because I would love to have this bag. This bag is an amazing bag. That being said, Meredith recognizes how much of an amazing bag that this is, and so I don't think Meredith has any intention of selling it anytime soon. So I keep my eyes on the pre-loved market. There is one on Vestiaire Collective, but it's like $3,300 or $3,400. And when I saw it for $1,800, I can't bring myself to pay $3,400 for it. So for this piece, the lesson is, if you see a pre-loved item that you love and it's at an amazing price, get it. And go ahead and get it, and don't be so hesitant. Now, like the mini pochette, the third item on my list is something that, again, it has price increased, and now I think it's actually no longer available. I'd finally determined, you know what, I'm tired of waiting for people to buy it, and it keeps going up in price, so I'm just going to buy it. And I went to go and buy it, and there are none in my size anywhere. And that is the Christian Louboutin Kate Slingbacks in the 85 in a black patent leather. I've been looking at these shoes for 3 years, and they were such a classic style that I just assumed they'd always be around, and they're nowhere to be found now. And so this great pair of shoes that I've been wanting for the past several years, I have missed out on because I was too hesitant to pull the trigger because I just thought it would always be around. So lesson number 3, just because it seems classic doesn't mean that it's going to be around forever. And if you like it, go ahead and buy it. I think that that's the biggest lesson overall in this video, is sometimes you can hesitate too much. Now, item number 4 is an item that again follows that this isn't going to be around forever thing, and that is with the Christian Louboutin, again another pair of Christian Louboutins, the Christian Louboutin Biancas. Now, these platform stiletto heels I was in love with. I tried them on so many times in Nordstrom, and I just didn't have the $650 or $700 or whatever they were to spend on a pair of shoes because I was in college. And by the time that I was out of college and ready to go and get these shoes, because I decided that I was going to get these shoes, they didn't make them anymore. They were gone from production. And I was just absolutely devastated that I couldn't have these shoes. And I see them come up on the resale market, but they're all worn, and I don't want a worn pair. I want a new pair. But at this point, it would be a new pair that's like 10 years old. And you never know how they've been stored. And so because I want it in a patent leather, the leather could be really sticky. It could be that they've been stored in a hot attic and they aren't in good condition anymore, even if they say that they're new. And so with all of that, I'm kind of stuck forever lusting after these shoes that no longer exist. Now, item number 5 is an item that I didn't get, I think in large part because it was so trendy. And that is going to be lesson number 5, is just because something's trendy doesn't mean it's bad. And I'm referencing, again, another pair of shoes, the Chanel Crazy CC shoes. When my husband and I were in Hawaii in summer of 22, these shoes were like the hottest things you could buy. And somehow the Honolulu Chanel had the light pink version of these shoes in the medium heel. They were in a 37.5, which somehow surprisingly actually worked with my feet. And these were amazing. And the only reasons I didn't buy them is that I'd bought my really fun Christian Louboutin wedges. That's sort of how my thinking was, that I'd already bought one fun pair of shoes. I couldn't buy a second fun pair of shoes, particularly since it was a trendy fun pair of shoes. And I've regretted those since I left Hawaii. Because there are so many times where it's like, you know, it would be fun to have this shoe. I could make this outfit a lot more fun with this shoe. And particularly with the weather that we have in Tennessee in the spring and in the summer, these would be amazing. And when Amelia did her video recently on items that she was influenced to buy, this was one of the items that she was influenced to buy because they were really popular. And I think it's funny that because they were really popular is why I didn't really buy them. And so if she ever wants to sell those shoes and they happen to be a 37.5, I'm very happy to take those off of her hands because I think that they are absolutely fabulous shoes. But I think the lesson in that for me is that just because something's popular doesn't mean that it's bad. And it's sometimes popular for a reason. Now, item number 6 goes back to lesson number 1 of price increases are painful. Go ahead and get the item. And this is sort of a combination of that lesson, but also the position that I was in with the same position of me not being able to buy the Christian Louboutin heels. I didn't feel like I was in a position at the time because I didn't have a full-time job. I was in grad school to buy a $3,500 bag, and that was the Chanel Classic Flap. I walked into the Chanel store in Nashville in Nordstrom. They had 4 small classic flaps. Black with gold hardware, black with silver hardware, beige with gold hardware, beige with silver hardware. And the beige with gold hardware was actually lambskin, and I didn't buy it. It was $3,400 and I didn't buy it. And when I got home and I told my husband, and he's like, well, he's like, you knew a price increase was coming. He's like, if you got it, he's like, we could have just resold it if you felt guilty about it. And I realized he was right. And so when I called back to the store the next day, all 4 of those bags had sold. All 4 of them were gone. Now I do have my vintage Chanel Classic flap, but it would have been great to have gotten it new instead. The vintage piece, however, I got an amazing price on, but still probably would have been better if I'd gotten the brand new piece to begin with. So a little bit sad about that, still kind of kicking myself over that, because all 4 of the most classic options were there and I just didn't buy any of them. I had the opportunity to buy any of those 4 and I didn't buy any of them. And so I'm still kind of a little bit mad at myself over that. Now, item number 7 is really a whole entire look that I regret not getting, and that was because I was being practical. And that is this gorgeous black velvet dress that had a corset bust built in, and so I wouldn't have even had to have worn a bra because I had a built-in corset, and there was this gold scarf that I paired with it, and these purple heels that I pulled in from the floor and paired with it, and then of course the gorgeous croc bag that was also with it, which I don't necessarily need. The croc bag I'm fine not having, but the dress, the shoes, and the scarf, even though I have nowhere that I could have worn this to, were so just beautiful, and I felt so pretty in that outfit and in that look. And it's a dress that I've never been able to find anything else like that fits me that way and that is made like that. And a large part of that is because of the corset that was built in that actually fit me. And the scarf is a scarf that I could see myself having worn a lot because it was like a big stole. And the purple heels, I think I definitely could have worked into my wardrobe and worn a lot. And so all 3 of these pieces, the look together, but also because I could have easily worn all 3 of these pieces. They were classic, they were beautiful, they were timeless, they were very much my colors. This could have worked so well for me. And instead of going with something that was really special, well, I went with the practical suit, and I got my skirt and my blazer. And then of course, wait a year and the skirt and the blazer ended up in sales for just a few $100s each in the various store sales. And I saw that and it was exceptionally painful because I paid full price. And the pieces that I loved didn't ever go in the sale. And I just really regret not getting those and waiting, or at least getting like the scarf and the shoes, or getting the dress, because like the blazer I don't regret getting. I do regret getting the skirt. And if I knew then what I knew now about what types of pieces typically go on sale from YSL, I would have waited on those and gone with the really special fun piece. So I think that that's going to be lesson number 6 now, is you don't always have to be practical. Sometimes you just need to have some fun with fashion, and that's okay. Now, item number 8 from YSL is a piece that I still would not buy today. I just kind of regret the fact that I let my sales associate show it to me because it's so amazing, and it's a piece that I still wouldn't buy now because it cost more than my car. And that I saw on the same day that I saw the dress and the scarf and the shoes. And that was the Himalayan Croc Sac de Jour. This was like this amazing matte. It almost had a suede finish to the croc. It was the most unique, amazing finish with the Himalayan style coloring on it. This bag was gorgeous, but it was $35,000. And I would never buy that bag in good conscience. I have too many goals that I want to accomplish and too many other things that I want and too many other uses for that funds to buy a $35,000 handbag. But I missed that bag and I only held it for a little while. Like, that is a bag that I wish I had just not even seen and not even held in person. And the same thing a bit with the P9 Speedy, now that I've actually held one because I held Amelia's in New York. I now want one of those, but again, I'm not gonna spend $10,000 on a Speedy. I'm just not going to do it. And because I've held those things that are not at a price point that I'm comfortable at, but I still want them, that is a regret not getting them, even though I, in any logical sense, wouldn't be getting them. And I think that that is going to be lesson number 7, is if it is at a price point that you are not comfortable at, don't look at it. Don't go look at it, don't hold it, don't play with it, because you're going to end up wanting it and there's not going to be anything else that's going to satisfy that one. And so you're always going to have that practical side of you saying there's a good reason you didn't get it, but the dreamer side of you saying, but I know it exists now and so I want it and I wish that I could get it. And that's kind of where I'm at with that piece and with the P9 Speedy. They kind of go together in the same category. Now, item number 9, again, another item that this one suffered from both price increases and no longer being sold and no longer existing. And that is from Tiffany. The Christmas before Blake and I got married, so the last one that we were engaged, he got me a beautiful Tiffany pearl necklace. And he'd gotten the Paloma Picasso olive leaf pearl tiered necklace, and that was because there were 3 big expensive pearl necklaces on the website at the time. That one, the Torsade necklace, and then the long strand of the Ziegfeld pearl collection. And he said, I wasn't sure which one to get you, and so I decided to get you the most expensive of the 3, so that if you didn't like this, we could exchange it for whichever one you wanted and you wouldn't have to feel guilty about going up in price. He told me that when he gave it to me, because we tried it on and that one, just the way it laid, did not lay right on me with my proportions. So we decided to take it back. And the one that I really loved was the Torsade pearl necklace, which fell in the middle price. The Ziegfeld was around like $1,000. The Paloma one was around $3,000, and then the Torsade was around $2,000. So it was still less expensive than the one that he had gotten me, which meant it was still within my budget to get. But I still felt really guilty. And we were also looking at furniture, and so the couch that we wanted, we had set a budget for. The couch that we really wanted was $2,000 over that budget. And the difference between the lowest pearl necklace and the pearl necklace he'd given me was $2,000. And so I didn't feel good getting a necklace for myself instead of getting something for us. So I went with the cheaper necklace and said, let's put the rest of the money towards the couch and get the couch we wanted. And Blake, I think, he was a little bit annoyed with me at that because he wanted to give me the item that I wanted. And I really wanted the Torsade, and he could tell that, and he could tell that I was just being reasonable. But he did what I asked, and so we got the lower necklace and the couch, and then I still wanted the more expensive necklace. Only the more expensive necklace, the Torsade pearl necklace, got discontinued. And then they brought it back, and I was like, oh yay, they brought it back! And then I saw the price, and the price was now over $4,000. And I was in no way comfortable with that. So once again, we didn't get it because I wasn't comfortable with the price. And then it got discontinued again, and it's never been brought back since. So I now still want this necklace that I didn't get it first because I was being too practical. Then it was discontinued, so I couldn't get it. Then it was brought back at a point that was subject to price increase, meaning that I wasn't going to get it because I wasn't comfortable with the price after the price increase, instead of just getting the piece that I wanted to begin with. And then the final of my 10 regrets is one that I regretted very briefly, but no longer do. However, I still want to put it on this list. And that is going to be a Chanel jacket. So if you watched my vintage shopping vlog, you would have seen me trying on a red Chanel jacket. And it was this beautiful red Chanel tweed. It was longer than a lot of their normal jackets are. And it had these really pretty like brass buttons on it. And it just fit me really, really well. And I just really, really liked this jacket. But most vintage Chanel jackets, you can find a lot for under $1,000. And this one, the woman said she was asking $2,000 for, but would give me a price because she felt like it was meant for me of $1,600. And I ended up not getting it for a couple of reasons. One, I felt that $1,600 was still too high for it. And two, I just got really weird vibes from her. But whenever I sent the video of the jacket to a couple of my different friends, they were just like, oh my gosh, please tell me that you got that jacket. That jacket's amazing on you. And I was like, I wish I had, but I didn't. And I didn't take a picture of the inside label. And so I messaged, I think that the username is Anthology of Style, but she does a lot of Chanel curation. And so I messaged her the video of the jacket and I said, hey, I tried on this jacket. I have no idea when it was from. I know it's a long shot, but do you by any chance know what collection this jacket might have been from? And could you maybe then help me source it? And so I sent her the video and she's like, oh yeah, absolutely. She said, hey, can you zoom in on the buttons and send me a still of it zoomed in on the buttons if you don't have a closer up picture of it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so I sent her a still zoomed in on the buttons and she's like, I think I know what jacket this is. She's like, but those are not that buttons. She's like, I've never seen a jacket in this color with these buttons. And she said the style of this jacket, the era it would have been from, she said, they didn't do these buttons. These were not buttons that they did then. They were doing a different style of button. And I remembered on how the lady, when I'd first walked into her booth, had talked about how her whole thing was restoring vintage Chanel and restoring vintage pieces. And she hadn't mentioned that she'd done any restoration on this particular jacket. But hearing that leads me to believe that, one, this jacket is not fully authentic. It is not a fully original jacket, because I trust Anthology of Style's opinion over some random woman that I'm meeting at a vintage store. And so hearing her tell me that this was not original buttons and that these buttons would not have been on this jacket made me feel so vindicated. And so I think the final lesson I learned with this is, if you feel weird about something, take a break, breathe. If you're still interested in it, get it authenticated. Go to someone who knows the items to authenticate it, because finding out that it's not a totally original jacket, possibly not even a real jacket, that made me feel a million times better and turned this one last regret into a relief that I did not buy this, and especially that I did not buy it at the price that she was asking for it. So there are the 10 items that I very much regret not getting at one point or another, and 9 of the 10 items I still regret that I didn't get at the time and wish that I could go back in time and get them now. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what some of your regrets are of items that you haven't purchased and wish that you had. And then I also want to tag some of my YouTube friends in this. So I'm going to tag the entire handbag tribe from New York. So that means Meredith, Amelia, Lisa, Deb, Gwenny, Claire, you're up. I'm also going to tag Steph and Leslie, and then I'm also going to tag a new friend that I made recently in the luxury space, and that is Nikki from Somehow Adulting. I would love to know from all of these women what it is that you regret not buying. And so with that, I hope you've had a great day, everyone. Bye.